Viewer discretion is advised.
Being a police officer for nearly 10 years, James has experienced the worst the job can offer. One day, he was assigned to investigate an area with a partner. It was just a simple investigation. A couple people went missing in the vicinity, but something about the case unsettled him deeply. Why were the cars still running while empty? It's a densely forested area. Where could the passengers have gone to? What lurks within the forest? It was a long and dark night. It had been 4 hours. James and his partner were investigating the case on road. Suddenly, a vintage-looking car sped up from behind and caught up to them. They couldn't see the driver's face even though James shone his flashlight on the car. Before they could do anything, the driver extended his hand out through the window. It turned, and on it, there were 2 human eyes staring right at them. James had seen it all, or so he thought, and at that moment, he knew he couldn't have been more wrong. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you a SCP Foundation Euclid Class Object, SCP-3470. SCP-3470, also known as Harry Potter's Revenge, is a predatory organism that relies on mimicry in its hunts and its prey, humans. 3470 specifically mimic the appearance of cars of vintage model, with a driver whose face is obscured by the perpetually fogged windshield. When hunting prey, it will extend the driver's left hand and make driving signals. On its palm, there are 2 human eyes embedded on it, and they appear to react and operate the same way as normal human eyes. 3470 is a nocturnal hunter. It patrols roadways and its territory, which overlaps part of Cibola National Forest in New Mexico, in search of solitary cars. Once it identifies a prey, it will catch up to them, pass them, and then force them to slow down and stop with hand gestures. Before it attacks, 3470 will rotate the hand so its prey can see its palm, as well as the eyes embedded on them. It is still unclear what purpose the eyes serve in hunting their prey. That is as far as the Foundation knows about its hunting behavior. As for its method of attack and consumption of prey remain a mystery. There were reports of empty automobiles with engines still running and the passengers were nowhere to be found. All these reports share 2 things in common. The same tire tracks were mentioned, and there were blue specks of paint on trees surrounding the missing person's cars. 2 police officers were dispatched to the area for investigation and disappeared in a similar manner. However, at the time of their disappearance, they were still in radio contact with other officers, and the description of 3470 has caught the Foundation's attention, especially the hand of the driver. And thus an investigation was conducted by the Foundation. 2 D-Class personnel, dubbed D01 and D13, were assigned to investigate 3470. They were dispatched at dusk in an off-road vehicle to attract the attention of 3470. The mission was to look for 3470, and once it appears, shoot it with piercing rounds which were modified to include GPS beacon so it can be tracked. It was getting dark fast as they cruised along the road. Soon, they observed a car's lights in the distance. As they moved closer, the car changed its direction so that it was driving along the same road as them. Follow that vehicle. Get closer to it. D13, get ready to shoot the vehicle if necessary, said command. They accelerated to catch up to the unidentified vehicle, which in turn appeared to be slowing down. As it got closer, the D-Class's vehicle headlights illuminated the vehicle properly. It was a turquoise color car of a vintage model. Upon quick inspection, they couldn't find the license plate or any means of identification aside from the car's model and color. Through the apparently foggy interior of the car, they could only see that there was only the driver in it. Suddenly, the car stopped abruptly about 20 meters away from the D-Class, forcing them to brake sharply. "Whoa, what the? Learn how to drive, man!" he yelled. A hand extended from the driver's side of the car and made a stop hand gesture. "Little too late for that now, isn't it?" And slowly, the hand rotated and showed a pair of human eyes on the palm. They darted around and blinked once, then shifted its attention to the D-Class. "That's the anomaly. Tag it." But before D13 could point his rifle at the car, it began to reverse, leaving D01 no choice but to reverse as well. D13 leaned out of the window and took shots at the anomaly, but the bumpiness of the road severely affected his aim. All the while, 3470's hand remained outside the car window, making a stop hand gesture, the eyes fixed intently on the D-Class. With the mission held with the utmost importance, the command ordered D01 to slow down so D13 could hit the anomaly. "No way I'm slowing down. I'm not about to let it catch up to us and find out what the hell it's gonna do to us," yelled D01 as he stepped on the pedal with all his might. Eventually, after some time of pursuit, D13 managed to hit 3470 twice. The anomaly emitted a loud screeching sound like a car performing an emergency brake and slowed down. D01 did not, however. And soon, 3470's lights slowly faded into the distance and disappeared completely from view. After that, having accomplished their mission, the D-Class drove back to the base without a scratch, and conversation as well. The investigation did not end there, as D13 proved to be a decent marksman. He had successfully tagged 3470 with the GPS beacon, which allowed the MTF Lambda 12 to track it to its nest. Its pattern of movement suggested that 3470 only comes out at night, as the beacon stayed consistently at the same location while the sun was up. Soon, a 6-man Lambda 12 team was dispatched to investigate the nest. The nest was a small cave in a forest near where D01 and D13 encountered 3470. They set up near the nest and monitored the beacon signal. As the sun set, the beacon moves away from the location of the cave. 3470 was out for a hunt. They moved towards the cave quickly. While L5 and L6 remained on watch outside, the rest of the team proceeded into the cave. The interior of the cave smelled like feces and diesel, unpleasant smells that hinted at biological and industrial activities, and maybe the anomaly's diet. As they advanced, L3 accidentally stepped into a scat pile. Although disgusted, he shone his flashlight on the pile. Among the dark black goopy mess, several small white fragments were poking out of it. They realized that those were in fact human bones. What's more, they have also found a police badge among the bones. The team advanced deeper and deeper into the cave, until finally they came upon a clutch of eggs. They could see a 4-legged organism trying to wriggle in the eggs through its translucent shells. They collected the half of the egg, and half of them were incinerated by L1 with his flamethrower. As they were leaving, 3470 came into view and blocked the entrance at the exit of the cave. L1 anxiously contacted command, but received no reply. In front of them, 3470 was revving its engine furiously, as if it was preparing to run into them in full speed. At that moment, the anomaly's hand appeared from the driver's side window, and its eyes blinked repeatedly at the squad. L3 immediately emptied his rifle's magazine at the hand, and one of the tranquilizer darts found its mark and hit 3407 squarely in its right eye. The dart must have caused intense pain to the anomaly, as it made an ear-piercing screeching sound and then reversed out of the cave. As the squad exited the cave, L5 and L6 were missing. Not a single trace of them were found anywhere near the location. But before they returned to base, the team realized something. Wasn't 3470 supposed to be, turquoise, right? That one was black. That could mean one thing. Either 3470 was able to mimic and change its color and potentially the model of car or even different objects, or that there were more than just one entity of 3470. Or maybe both. Wizard says Red talks to him and whispers all this horrible stuff to him when it's growing. It is going to eat away with him until there's nothing left. And that's what's going to happen to everyone eventually. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today we bring you SCP Foundation Euclid Class Object SCP-2085. SCP-2085, also known as Wizard, is a middle-aged male human of an undetermined ethnicity. Generally, his health is poor, and he struggles with vitamin D deficiency, acute radiation syndrome, and heavy scarring from severe and repeated skin ulcerations. 2085 wears an S-1035 Advanced Crew escape suit at all times, generally accompanied by a bathrobe and red felt wizard's hat. 2085 has undergone significant cybernetic and genetic enhancements, including adaptations of the gastrointestinal tract to support a fully liquid diet. Additionally, an esophageal input port and waste output port are integrated into the suit. The skin has been modified to regulate sweating and reduce skin abrasions caused by prolonged contact with the suit. The skin and sweat glands have also been modified to secrete an artificial biofilm that aids in skin regeneration. This biofilm additionally gives 2085 a strong scent of mint. Last but not least, containment implants for Red. Don't worry guys, we'll get to this later. 2085A is a group of 5 augmented female humans of Japanese origin, designated SCP-2085A1 through SCP-2085A5. They are all genetically identical and measure around 2 meters in height and 80 kilograms in weight. 2085A is fluent in many languages, but is generally uncooperative with staff. 2085 and 2085A have been linked to numerous criminal operations occurring between 2010 and 2013, including smuggling, theft, kidnapping, extortion, possession of fissile materials, and other corporate sabotage. In 2013, SCP-2085 and 2085A were initially recovered during a heist that was carried out by the group against the Sun Yi-On Triad. Below is an interview log detailing a conversation with them after being contained by the Foundation. Please state your name for the record. Major Motoko Kasanagi, representing the Black Rabbit Company. Please note that all 2085A instances provided false names, taken from characters featured in various media. Can you explain what it is that your company does? We're an employee-owned private security group. In plain speech, we do everything from security and deliveries to birthday parties, special events, and birthday parties? Long story, complete disaster. Indeed. Could you elaborate on any of these? No. Let's be honest here. Both of our respective organizations are of sketchy legality on the best of days. It's obvious, and there's no use denying it. You don't trust us, and we certainly aren't going to trust you. With that in mind, it would be best for us to just go on our separate ways. I'm afraid that's not possible at this time. Suit yourself. Please state your name for the record. Millie Thompson. Can you tell me anything about the Black Rabbit Company's activities prior to your stay here? How much time do you have? As much time as you need. Awesome. So there was this one time we were up in Kamchatka. You know, the little dangly part of Russia? We were breaking into this old Soviet bunker. The place hadn't been opened up in over 30 years, and it was overrun by psychics. Wizard managed to cut a deal with them, and we were let inside. The merchandise we were selling them was all fake, of course, but they didn't realize that until we started shooting. A2 continued on about the raid on a sealed Soviet-era bunker with presumed GRU Division P connections, the breakup of a Ukrainian sex trafficking ring, a spate of raids under the guise of a San Francisco pizza delivery service, and the declaration of A4 as Queen of Thailand for another 2 hours and 53 minutes. Please state your name for the record. Aisha Clan. Can you tell me about Red? Oh, Red. Wizard says Red talks to him and whispers all this horrible stuff to him when it's growing, that it's just going to eat away with him until there's nothing left. And that's what's going to happen to everyone eventually. I don't know if it actually does talk. I mean, I believe it does, but I haven't heard it. It makes sense for a cancer. Can you tell me anything about Wizard's history? What he did before? Not really. He mentioned a long time ago that he used to be married and had kids, but he never brought it up again. They probably think he's dead or that he ran off or something like that. He doesn't have any connections with jobs or friends. He doesn't really have anything left from back then, so we're his family now. Please state your name for the record. A4 raises middle finger. I will give you one more chance. Your cooperation will determine the future privileges that you will receive. Please state your name. A4 seems to contemplate the offer. Dio Brando. I suppose that will do. Now, Miss Dio. A4 punched the observation divider, creating a large crack in the pane. A4 drew back its fist and flexed fingers. It punched the divider again, causing more cracks. The researcher activated lockdown procedures and the protective shutter was lowered. Aerosol sedatives were pumped into the containment unit. A4 continued punching the barrier as the researcher exited the interview room. Later, A4 claimed a willingness to provide video logs of the group's former operations in exchange for the lifting of sanctions placed upon the subject after repeated escape attempts. The offer was accepted. However, due to A4's history and containment, the provided file was accessed in an isolated network by D-class personnel in the case of viral, mimetic, or cognito-hazardous agents. The provided video file consisted of a slideshow. This slideshow was made up of various still images and video footage of fecal matter, accompanied by a looped recording of a Russian folk song. The file also contained a single-use audio transference cognito-hazard inducing severe anaphylaxis and exudative diarrhea in the observing D-class subject. The D-class subject died 4 minutes after initial access of the file. SCP-2085, could we ask you a few questions? 2085 puts on bathrobe and wizard hat, moves chair to interview window, and sits down. Sure, ask away. All right, first, tell us about you. I'm a space wizard. I come from space. That's not particularly helpful, SCP-2085. Look, it isn't important. I'm an average guy with an average background. Very well. Next, tell us about your assistants. Oh, the girls? They're the best, aren't they? You would not believe what kind of scrap they have gotten me out of. There was this one time in Moscow when… We can save that for another time. We're more interested in how you came across them. That's something of an interesting story. I wasn't in a good place in my life around then, running around trying to fix all this shit, and I was wondering if there was any purpose at all, or if I should just give up and die. I scraped by with implants from some pretty shady people, so I was at the clinic to get some new parts, and when I'm going through the installation process, boom, big explosion. And those 5 come barging out with their guns blazing. I just start booking it with my chest half open because when a 6'4", 210-pound Japanese woman with an assault rifle barges through the wall, you run. Following this is a long series of shenanigans wherein we met up, split up, meet up again, get shot at by the guy's business partners, shoot back at the guy's business partners, save each other's lives multiple times, and stuff like that. Mostly, they were hauling my ass out of the fire. Then, we stole a boat and hightailed it out of Japan. We whipped up the charter for the Black Rabbit Company on our first night out of the country, right there on the boat. It was their idea, and I just got kind of roped in as the face of the operation because of my rugged good looks and natural charisma. Not like I could do all the physical stuff anyway. But it was right then, as we were working out the details of everything, that I got inspired. One of those once-in-a-lifetime, life-changing inspirations. They fought back against the shit life threw at them. I could too. So I did. I wasn't some guy dying from some freaky cancer in his chest. I was the space wizard. And we've been friends ever since. Don't know what I'd do without them. Probably end up dead. Could you explain to us the entity currently living inside of you? Ah, Red. Basically, this thing, Red, it's my opposite. It's a sort of evil twin. Fell from the sky in a meteorite a few winters back. Red's got no hope left. No more room for dreams, and all it can do is leech and wait. Nothing but despair left for Red. So anyone having hope, anyone having dreams, it hates that. Red, now known by the Foundation as 20851, is a fibrous mass of motile, self-replicating carbon nanomaterials that inhabits 2085's chest cavity. It features growths protruding into the liver, pancreas, gallbladder, spinal cord, and left lung.